Yoink! How good is this music? At Dome again, my creative spot, and I'm at the moment just doing the final draft of the first course I'm going to release, which is on stress management. And the reason that this is the first one that I'm going to release is because across all the sites that I've been to, my number one concern is that people don't know how to manage their own stress. Yes, I can deliver very easy to implement tools like 7-Eleven, and that's generally the one that I use across the board. I'll tell people about tremor release or connect them to breathwork practitioners, but across the board, most people don't know how to manage their stress, and that means that a lot of those people, that stress is compounding and compounding and compounding, and that's what's leading to a lot of the poor decisions that are being made on site. So if I can go onto site and do my thing, connect with people, talk with people one-on-one, deliver these presentations, and hopefully give them a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of hope, and move them towards taking action and becoming someone that they're proud of, beginning with stress management implementation. If I can leave them with a course that they can do in their own time that helps them identify the areas where they're showing up, which is actually creating or causing the bulk of their stress in their life, and then taking action to remedy that, then I believe I give them a pathway to actually become that person. I give them breathing room and space. And with that breathing room or space, you can figure out who you are, who you want to be, and take action, take those steps from that place rather than from a place of being overwhelmed or overly stressed. And so one thing that's come up that I hadn't thought about before, it wasn't in the original version of the stress management course or the vulnerability course, is people pleasing. And the reason I say this is because within FIFO, what I hear a lot from a lot of people is they go back for their R&R and they've already booked out the R&R, right? So for 2-in-1, you go back for the 1 week. We know that the partner is most likely working. A lot of people have kids. A lot of people have different responsibilities. But if you're going home and you're booking things out because you're people pleasing, because you're too afraid to say no and upset that person, number one, are you saying yes because you're just too afraid to upset that person, and what does that mean about you? And number two, are you saying yes and then you're going to cause yourself all this stress because you're not actually going to turn up, and it's you're in the lead up to that time when you're supposed to be there, when you're supposed to be at that party, you're supposed to be at that lunch, you're supposed to be at that whatever with the person that you've said yes to. Are you causing yourself unnecessary stress, anxiety, worry, overwhelm because you're not turning up? And at some point you're going to have to give some rubbish excuse for why you're not there. And so people pleasing, in looking at all this, it's like, okay, how do we identify where you're not honouring yourself, where you're not honouring your time, where you're too afraid to say no to upset people? How do we identify those areas in the way that we're showing up? And then how do we build the capacity to become someone who has the confidence, who has the safety within themselves to say no? To say no, and if someone responds poorly, if they are upset, if they are hurt by the fact that they don't get your time, how can you sit in that and be comfortable enough within yourself to sit in that and not create a story around how you're a bad person, how you're letting this person down, how you've caused them hurt? That's going to be a decent chunk of this stress management course. We're also talking about physiological state change, how your brain works, threat versus safety, communication, a big one is communication, right? Identify your needs and what you need from the people around you, how to ask for help, identify your partner's and kids' needs as well, how to have hard or courageous conversations, identify how you show up when you're stressed. That's critical, right? If you can identify, with the help of the people that you love, the people around you, how you show up when you're stressed, then all of a sudden you know. A lot of people don't accept, acknowledge or surrender to the fact that they show up a particular way. But when you're asking people and they're all telling you and that message is congruent, what you know you can't unknow, right? And from that place, we can then communicate, give the people around us who can see that permission to call us forward. Not call us out, because that's attacking. Call us forward, calling us to step into who we know we want to be or can be, and then giving them permission to not only call us forward, but to recommend a tool that we've said, yes, this is a tool that I want to use in that moment. Therefore, it's sort of like this agreement, right? When you're stressed or overwhelmed and this person says, hey, you're showing up this way, this is the tool you need to use right now, you can't say, well, you're trying to fix me. You can't say that, because you've literally recommended and agreed to have this person recommend this tool. You've literally given them permission. So that's a little rundown of what we're going to be covering around stress management. Obviously, we're going to do emotional drop-in. We're going to talk about values and traits, and talk about routines and consistency, the importance of it, the fact that life isn't linear, and for a lot of people, when they start doing this work and they get to a place where they feel good, something I've done a lot as well, and a lot of my clients have done a lot, is once we get to that place where we feel good, we feel happy, we feel content, we feel like we're not burdened by stress, we believe that life is going to stay that way, and there's like this euphoria. There's euphoria for a portion, and then we realize we're slowly slipping downhill. A lot of us, cling so desperately to happiness, contentment, to ease and grace, that we actually cause our own suffering. And so that'll be a part of it too. There's a whole lot more. Geez, I've got 3 pages of stuff that I have to record, and I'll do that before New Year's. Record and upload it to Kajabi or my own website. And this will be course number 1 that I release, that I believe is going to have a real impact and give people a genuine pathway to not only create awareness around why they might be feeling the way that they do, and how they can take action to become someone who isn't burdened by that, or someone who has the tools to take action and move through that, work through it, surrender to it, and allow and move and be malleable as we're meant to do. But also, it's going to give them the confidence to move forward, to take those steps. Because when we're stepping out of being someone who is overly stressed, being someone who maybe is addicted to stress, maybe you're someone who has the belief that you're supposed to live this way, I want to give them the confidence to step out of that norm, to step out of that comfort zone, to step out of that bubble wrap. Because even if that comfort zone or that norm is toxic, is destructive, it is what we're used to, right? It is what we're comfortable with. So stepping outside of that will be perceived as a threat. And so I'm hoping that this can be the pathway for that, to step out of that destructive comfort zone and to step into something new, to move towards what we may consider a threat initially. But over time, implementing different tools, identifying where we're showing up poorly, and then identifying how we can change that, hopefully that threat becomes an ally, becomes safety, becomes rewarding. That's about it. I hope you're all having a good festive season so far. Chrissy tomorrow, I hope you have a good day tomorrow. And for those of you in WA, don't let the mask mandates, all that sort of stuff, get you down. Enjoy the time with your family. Live, laugh, love. Have a beer or two. Do whatever you need to do to wind down and to surrender to the moment. That's all we can do, right? Ciao.